Gonna wear out finger eating guitar string special. Well, hello, I'm Scott Brown, and welcome to another edition of Green Wind and Other Home Energies. Oh, gotta show you something. That's the resin from when we cast it, and it's pretty hard. While this is as hard as plastic over there, I'm gonna go ahead and take this off. Okay, I took all the screws out, smack it a few times. There we are. Take a paint stick, find a crack. Can't see it, but I'm tapping the paint stick around. I got it over to here. Oops, come on out of there. Check it again later. Hello, I'm Scott Brown with Green Wind and Other Home Energies. Right here we have a successful stator. Anyway, this is the whole mold, about 35 pounds. We had some problems, and basically if I don't give you the benefit of my mistakes, then it's like not having the experience of it. And that wouldn't be fair. Hello, I'm Scott Brown with Green Wind and Other Home Energies. This is the moment everybody's been waiting for, but we had some problems. Okay, anyway, I checked it after about 2 hours, like I thought it would be, where I could actually take it out, and it was still soupy. So I painted the top. I painted it black. I let it sit out in the sun for 4 days. We did not put enough hardener in the resin. Although the longer it takes to harden, the harder it gets. Well, it would have took a real long time. Eventually it would have, but I was in a hurry. So I took the lid off. It worked fine. These came out great. The top came off fine. Basically, looking inside, all of this was still soup. I scraped the lid off. I put all that back into the milk jug because I'm going to add hardener to it. I'm not going to waste my resin. Anyway, we got that off. Then we scooped. Might as well take this off for now. I scooped everything out of here I could. I picked the coils, took that fiberglass mat off. I squeegeed it out into the jug. Set the mat aside. I took the coils out. I took as much resin off the coils as I possibly could. Basically laid it on a ceramic tile at an angle and let it drain off. I collected all of that. I figured I wasn't in any danger of it hardening. And I took the last mat out of the bottom after scooping all the resin and everything out, and it's all in the jug. So basically cleaned out the bottom of the mold down inside here. This had been sitting out in the sun and it got hot. That wax melted, the resin went down into here. What I should have done is clean that bottom off and re-waxed, re-greased, but I did not. Kind of in a hurry and trying to figure out what I was going to do, because I don't give up easy. So I rubbed a bunch of hardener on the bottom, and then I put the mat, after getting all I could out of it, set that down there, rubbed hardener on it. Took these coils almost completely clean on the outside. I doused them with hardener and rubbed it all in. And I set that down in here. Then I took the other fiberglass mat out. I squeegeed as much as I could of that, set it aside, and I had all my resin. I put a bunch of hardener in that. I gave her a stir, and I poured it all in here. I took the mat, set that on, some more hardener on top, and I poured a little bit what I had left in the bottle in, and I re-greased the lid fast, and I put the lid back on. And a few hours later, I came out with this. Problem was, the resin came up the sides of these bolts. I did not put grease inside the holes this time, so the resin came up inside here, and it hardened. I cut with the skill saw halfway down, half the thickness of this, and chiseled all the wood out, and I got that loose. I took all the screws out, and I figured that way I wouldn't have a problem. I took that off. The lid stuck a little bit. I took a little off of here, here, and here. So much for reusing the old mold. But the good news was I still couldn't get this out, so I hit it in the middle where I figured that circle was. I smacked it with a hammer here. We knocked all of this wood loose. But notice here, this was very successful. It still actually came off real good on the sides here where we had a lot of wax. But all of this came off. Belt sanded all of that off. Got it all nice and smooth, so you can see the coils. Kind of pretty. Anyway, that came out real nice. I measured 5/8 here, 5/8 here, 5/8 here, and here on both sides, all the way around. Came out nice and smooth and perfect. After sanding and getting the wood off, I took a little bit of peach shellac and decided to seal and cover the whole thing all over again. And this is what we got. We got a solid stator, very solid. Matter of fact, I've got a piece of it over here, and I tried to break this with one hand, but I tell you what, this stuff's only this thin. I got the real fine piece on the side where it's thin, but that's stout. I believe that's much more stouter. That's very stout. It's solid. It's hard. And I have a successful stator. And these coils are going to cool real nice because of the baby powder. So we got a solid stator. Looks good. We're fixing to get into testing. We're going to get back into ohming all of these out. This is phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3 finish. Phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3 start. We're going to hook the ohm meter across phase 1, 2, and 3 and make sure that these are all solid connection all the way through. Okay, basically what we got left to do, this is solid, this is hard, this is a successful stator. We're going to test on these 3 finishes and these 3 starts. Phase 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, and 3 finish. We're going to put the ohm meter across each of the phases and find out that we have 0.5 ohms. Okay, now testing the stator, we're looking at 0.5 ohms. And put it in that ohm symbol right there and make sure your leads are set in, and then you check for ohms. Let's switch over to the second phase, and we're showing about 0.5, 0.6 ohms. And go over here to phase 1. 0.6, 0.5 ohms. Reads the same. These coils are all good. Good thing about having low ohms is that the current can flow a lot better. Higher ohms brings more voltage. Next thing we're doing is the magnet rotor template and putting the magnets on the rotors, and then we're going to assemble. Oh, I got something to show you here. This was the old bearing we were going to use, and it's kind of a pressed-in bearing, and I wasn't too happy or thrilled with that. This is the kind I really wanted. Cluggy619 came by and gave me this. This has a nut on the front, and you can adjust the tension on these bearings. And see, this one spins pretty good for something that sits and old. Once I clean all this up and re-grease it, spin like a bicycle wheel. But all these get all thread and go through these discs. And this disc here is going to be on the back side. This hole has to be walled out a little bigger so it'll fit in. I'm Scott Brown with Green Wind and Other Home Energies. Many good things to you and yours.